Hey, good morning. It's 11:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 on the West Coast. My name's Ken Countess, and we're here to give you the three C's of effective online meetings. And effective in meaning that this is a way for you to make more money during this difficult time. This is number 12 in a series of daily online events to help businesses like yours and mine deal with the current environment and bring the business community together. That's really what I am most interested in, is helping all of us navigate through this difficult time. During the course of this event, be sure you ask questions, add your comments, and when I run a poll, make sure you respond to the poll. In fact, I'm going to run a poll right now. And many of you who have attended my events in the past know that I'm very fond of polls, and the reason is it helps keep people engaged. All right, so let me know if you've joined me for one of my events in the past. If you have questions along the way, be sure that you use the Q&A or chat buttons. I'm watching both of them. If you're not sure where to find it, move your mouse down to the bottom of the screen, and there a black bar will be revealed, and that will give you a chance to ask questions, provide your comments. Let me know where you're joining me from. Just type in the city and perhaps what kind of business you're in, okay? So let's move things along. Here's what I'm going to teach you over the next 20 minutes. It's how to get better results from online meetings. I'll give you the three C's of effective online meetings that will get you better results. So take notes and ask questions, and let's get started. By the way, this is a 20-minute version of a 1-hour class. So I'll be going through things pretty quickly. First thing we'll talk about is the camera, and then conversation. And the third C is content. So once again, my name's Ken Countess. I'm Managing Director of the Countess Group. I'm a 40-year marketer, and I'm in my 20th year as an independent consultant, helping businesses of all kinds grow with marketing tools and techniques. Previously, I was a senior executive at 3 Fortune 50 companies. They were Motorola, Marriott, and Caremark, which is now owned by CVS. We are a full-service marketing consultancy. What we do is we help you with just about anything you need, and we partner with the companies that you see on the screen here, as well as several other companies as well. So we can help you with just about anything you need. What we like to say is we help businesses just like yours gain an unfair advantage over your competition by helping you understand how to target your marketing so you're not wasting time and money trying to reach people who have no idea who you are. And this will help you get better results. In my 40 years as a marketer, I have worked, as I mentioned, with some very, very big companies and very, very small companies, helping them learn how to do targeted marketing, how to get great lead generation, how to get awareness for their brand, how to automate the marketing so you're not there every single day having to tackle these marketing things that maybe are not first nature to you or second nature to you. Maybe you find marketing to be a necessary evil. And along the way, along my 40 years, I've helped companies big and small with crises, such as this one actually, where business slowed down. Or maybe you were working for a company that got hacked and credit card information got misused. Maybe environmental issues, maybe disaster relief. So let's go ahead and dive in. The three C's are camera, conversation, and content. So let me start by doing this. You know, you do see me on screen. One of the great things about doing online meetings is that people can see you. People can see you. You want them to know that you are a person. You want them to be able to know that you really do exist. You're not just a voice coming through a computer. You want them to know that you're real. It helps you build credibility. It helps people feel that they're cultivating a relationship with you. So during the course of an online meeting, you might want to shut off that PowerPoint slide and make it look like it's a real, I'm talking to you kind of an event. That's one of the beauties of doing online meetings. Okay, so it's really important for you to think about doing that. The next thing is, this COVID-19 coronavirus epidemic has really changed what's going on in the professional world. What I mean by that is this slide. I just took this morning. This is Sunday morning, March 29th, 2020. And what you're looking at here is a news anchor on our local station, one of our stations here in Orlando. And that individual on the left appears to be in her studio. And the individual on the right is the weather person that was doing the weather this Sunday morning. And pretty clearly, she's not in a studio. In fact, when they cut away to show the weather for today, and this is a picture of what the weather will be like later today in Orlando, you see her on the left, presumably in her home office or study, and the studio people have projected the weather. So the point is that all of this has changed the way we do business, meaning that in the past, meaning as recently as 2 or 3 weeks ago, we would expect to see people and business people dressed up. We would expect to see them, with everything to a T. Everything is still professional today. It just looks different. So I took a few screenshots of CBS Sunday morning. And so that's what I'm sharing with you today. So first thing to see is that Jane Pauley is the host. If you're not used to watching CBS Sunday morning, it's on at 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern time in our city. But Jane is out today and was out yesterday. Instead, it's Lee Cowan. Now, Lee is working out of his home, and they have the image of CBS Sunday mornings off to his side, but he's not in a studio. And here is the doctor that they have been using as the expert on the coronavirus situation. Clearly, he's not in a studio. And there's Martha Teichner, clearly not in a studio. And there's Jim Gaffigan, who typically is in a studio, and they have a green screen behind him with a background. By the way, this is a green screen that I've got behind me, and I have an image projected. But it looks like Jim is in his dining room to record this segment. And here's another correspondent, clearly not in the studio. So the segment that I'm going to refer to most is one that was done by David Pogue. And David, if you don't follow him, he writes for the New York Times. He's a very well-known author. He does segments for CBS News quite often. And here's David getting set up to do a live segment. And what you see is there's a camera and some lighting, and he's sitting at his home office, which they've converted to a studio. And what David Pogue talked about today, and it was about how now we're using online meetings to conduct business, to cultivate relationships, to get to know our customers better, and for them to get to know us better, and for us to have a conversation with one another in a virtual environment. So this shot here is of 12 CBS correspondents that all joined a call that they did on Zoom, which of course is what we're doing our call on now too. We're also, by the way, streaming this live on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Ken Countess. So, one of the great things about using Zoom is that you can have 50 people all sharing your screen. Right? So they can have their names listed or not. That's entirely up to you or them. But what this enables us to do now is where not long ago we were conducting business meetings in conference rooms and auditoriums and maybe around a table, and we cannot do that now. So why not take advantage of the technology? And whether you're in business, whether you're out and about, now you can do your meetings virtually live on a smartphone, on a desktop, It really doesn't matter. And businesses are getting very creative. One of my encouragements to you is get creative about how you interact with your fan base, with your tribe, if you will, with your avatar. This is a screenshot of musicians, obviously, that are doing a concert together online. But it doesn't have to be for business, right? My family had an online gaming session last night using Zoom, and we had all of us together just in front of our cameras and in front of our TVs. So you don't have to just use online meetings for business. So I mentioned David Pogue's story. You can find that story online. It's how to live and work at home without going stir crazy. And there's a link to the story. What I've done is created a shortened link for you. So if you look at the link down at the bottom and maybe you've got your camera in hand, go ahead and take a picture of that. And you'll be able to not only download the story, but also view the story that I've just been referring to. All right, so let's change subjects. And now let's talk about conversations. Online meetings such as these are great in that we can have conversations and still practice social distancing. We'll then talk about content too. My expectation and my hope for you is that you will use this live technology in the way it was intended to be used. So what do I mean by that? It means that now you can, while sitting in your office at home, or you're out and about, you and an individual or a group of people can all interact live. So you can conduct business no matter what kind of a business you're in. So I know we've got, looking at the list of people who are here, and I know what a few of you do. I know Rodney is a travel agent. Rodney, you can easily have one of these conversations with one of your clients. Terrence, same for you. I know that you can take advantage of this and get your audience engaged. If you're doing a meeting such as this one, it's pretty easy to get your audience engaged. How do you do that? Ask questions, just like I did earlier. I'm going to look at the question box and I'm going to look at the chat box and see who's used it so far. Let's see, where are the chats? Where are the chats? Let me move my mouse around so I can see where the chats are. Okay, I guess I'll have to find it later. I'm looking at 3 different screens, so that's why I'm not able to see what. Oh, here we are. Terrence says he's in Ocala and does marketing. And Michael says, I really like that you have slides for your presentation material rather than just talking. Yeah, you know, that's what it's about. Who likes death by PowerPoint? Thanks for those comments, guys. Who likes death by PowerPoint? It's really important that you visually present your content. It's really important that you visually present your content. So ask questions. So for instance, tell me again, you know, what is it that you do? Where are you located? Let me know that, and I'll give you a moment to type in the answer. By the way, if you're like me, I'm a really slow typist. So if it takes a second or two to go ahead and find the keyboard and go ahead and drop in your questions and comments, and I totally understand. All right, so let's move ahead. The other thing that you can do to keep your audience engaged, ooh, there's a question that comes in from Rodney, but how do I implement this for client talks? We're going to talk about that, Rod. Here's the other thing that you can do to get your clients engaged. Run polls. So for instance, here's another poll. How do you like this session so far? Let me dismiss the window from my other screen here to make sure that we've got it running. And let me relaunch it. There we go. Okay, so this is another way that you can get people engaged. And by the way, if you're watching on Facebook Live, you need to be on our Zoom call in order to be able to participate in the polls. And I will answer your questions for you when this session is over. When the feed processes, I'll be able to answer you. So that's how you get things going with your clients and your prospects. Let's now talk about content. Content is key. Content's really key. You've got to make it good. There are so many people now that watch these events on smartphones and tablets. And so you can't any longer have PowerPoint slides that have tons of verbiage, because if you're watching on a smartphone, right, if you're on the other end, if the text is so small that you can't read it, you're going to go away. And so for the presenter, it's a real challenge, right? Which means that you've really got to have this much more as a live event. Have it much more as a conversation with your audience. So use big fonts, use less text, and be sure, please, to use clear images. You know, people think a lot about your business based on the types of images you use. If they're fuzzy, if they're not clear, they believe that you don't have that much interest in your business. So put forth a great representation of who you are and what you do. Right? You only get one chance to make a good first impression. So for instance, here's an image, nice and clear. And Rodney, by the way, if you're in the travel business, I know you are, using imagery like this will help keep your clients engaged. An image like this instead of like this, right? Who's going to want to do business with a travel agent who shows a blurry image? So finally, practice. Practice, practice, practice. I do about 100 online live events a year, so I've got a lot of practice. If you're just starting out, if you've never done this before, take it upon yourself to practice. The example I like to use is this. When you were a teen and mom or dad gave you the keys to the car and you got behind the car behind the steering wheel for the first time, were you very good at driving? No, it took time. So make sure you take time. Put a good foot forward. Make sure that, and you could practice with friends and family. You could practice, you can use a tool like Zoom and record your session and then play it back, and then you will see how well you did. So you don't have to embarrass yourself in front of other people. And by the way, you can use tools like Skype and Zoom and WebEx and GoToMeeting. Most of them do have free offerings. I know on Zoom, it is free. If you're doing smaller events, you can have person-to-person events that are unlimited in length. You could have 3 or more events on the free package of 40 minutes or less. So it's not that this has to cost you a lot of money. It doesn't. And as far as the cameras go, I'm using a simple webcam for this event that cost me about $60. You could use your smartphone to run events like these. It's a little more clumsy. It's clunkier when you're using your smartphone, especially if you want to run polls like the one I've been running. And it's more difficult to see the comments that are coming in. But you can do it. So my point to you is practice. We'll go to Q&A here in just a moment. But before we do, and once again, here's where you find it. Make sure that if you haven't already joined my mailing list, make sure you do that. Do that today and go to this URL. By the way, capitalization matters. So go ahead and join our list if you're not already on the list. If you don't have a pen and paper with you, just take a snapshot of this slide and you'll be able to join at your convenience. So, you know, we can coach you through it. We can do it all for you. My name's Ken Countess, and I'm Managing Director of the Countess Group. What we help you do is gain an unfair advantage over your competition. We're a full-service marketing consultancy. You can reach out to us anywhere on the web. Let me just close this window here. You can reach out to us anywhere on the web, and you can also connect with us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/the Countess Group. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. You can connect with me on Instagram. I encourage you, though, truly connect with me. Let us help you gain that unfair advantage over your competition. I've just launched another poll. Let me know if you'd like a free 15-minute consultation. Or you can use this link and set it up on your own. Or give me a call at 407-242-4200. The goal of doing all these sessions, 30-minute sessions every single day, 7 days a week, is to help you make more money. So I hope you'll take advantage of what you learned this morning. The free consultations have no sales pitch. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and click yes on the poll. All right, it's time for Q&A. So I will look at the chat box and the Q&A box. Let me go look over at the other screens. This will give you some time to add your questions to the chat box. By the way, if you'd like to attend any or all of our upcoming events, you could find them online at our website. It's thecountessgroup.com. Go to the Seminars and Webinars tab. In the upper bar, I've got the red arrow pointing to it, and there you can sign up for our events. And as you might imagine, they're all virtual right now until things settle down a bit in our world. So I hope you'll sign up for as many events as you can. We have another one of these events every single day on the week coming up. On Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, I have a special guest, Tony Rubin, who's a startup expert and a turnaround expert. And Tony and I will be co-hosting that event. He'll be talking about the most important things that you can do to save your business during this difficult time. So I hope you'll join us then and for all of our events. All right, so let's see. Rodney says, how do I implement this for client talks? Rodney, the way you do it is you would, first of all, you'd schedule the meeting on Zoom or Skype or GoToMeeting or WebEx, and have some notes already prepared. Have some imagery already prepared. For a business like yours, you want to get people in the mood to travel. So showing some imagery that gets them dreaming about where you can take them will be one of the great places to start. I would encourage you to encourage them to ask questions. You know, what are the things that are of most interest to them? They may have concerns about travel now, so I would be prepared with answers to questions like that. They may ask about whether prices will be dropping or going up. So there are lots of things that you might prepare to help your online meetings, okay? Michael says, is Zoom, WebEx, GoToMeeting, or something else the best online platform to use? You know, Michael, it's really a matter of personal preference. I have used all of them, and I find Zoom to be the most user-friendly, both on the for the presenter and for the audience. It's a very, very simple interface. And as you saw from some of the pictures I showed earlier, you can get lots of people on, and you could have them turn their cameras on if you like. There are two versions that you can do on Zoom. One is for simple meetings, and the other is for webinars. The meetings side of Zoom, and once again, it's free to use. On that one, you can have people join, and they have the option of having their video off or on. On a webinar, the host of the webinar controls who gets to show their video. So I could have participants I can make them hosts or panelists and encourage them to turn their cameras on. If anybody on this particular event would like to try that out, we do have a minute or two where we can give that a shot. Or we could just do it on an individual basis. Okay, no volunteers. All right, so hey folks, I'm really glad that you joined. Our next event is tomorrow, Monday, March 30th at 11:30 Eastern Time. You can go to our website, thecountessgroup.com, for details. I'll have a playback of this event available either later today or early tomorrow. You'll be able to find it at thecountessgroup.com. Look under the COVID-19 tab. And you can also go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/countessgroup. And when you get to that page, make sure you subscribe so that you'll know when we have new videos up there. And at this rate, we've been putting at least one new one up there every day. So thanks once again for joining me today. I wish you a great weekend, what's left of it, and I hope we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.